Good morning, friends. So, in the today's recorded lecture, we are going to extend the examples of the topology. That means we'll see some of the examples of a topology. Okay. Before going to that, I will ask you that how many of you are seeing the recorded lecture, because the count of the last recorded lecture is only 24 and the strength of the student is 50, near about 50. So at least 50 or at least 40 views should be there for that video, no? If you're not watching the lectures of general topology, don't think that you're going to pass the exam. Either it is a MCQ or it is a physical exam. Because for the paper of general topology, you need a practice. At least you should write down once or twice. Then only you can understand what to write and how to use the properties. Okay, there are so many properties, there are so many remarks, the definitions that you have to remember at a time in while giving the examinations. Okay, so we have completed up to co-finite and co-countable topology. The example of co-countable topology I have given for you for the homework. There is some problem in my house, so that's why I am putting the recorded lectures. Okay. Now let us go with the definition of open set in topology. Yes, what is an open set, which we have seen related to real, and I have told you to find out what is open sphere and all the definition in the metric space as well as in real analysis. Right. I don't know many of you done the homework, so let us go with the definition of open set in a topology. If X2 is a T space, then the members of 2 are called as a open set. If X2 is a T space, then the members of 2 are called as open sets. As I told you initially that whatever we are going to see in our topology paper are related to the open sets, or another way we can call it as two open sets. That means these are open sets in our particular topology. Okay? And in that we already know that phi and x are always open and as well as closed set. Okay, and let us go with some of the properties of the open set that we have seen initially. What was the properties? Phi is open set, x is a open set, right? Phi and x are open set. This is the first property of the open set. Next is intersection of any two open set is again a open set. That is a intersection of open set is open set if A and B are open set. The intersection of finite number of open set is also open set. That means intersection of AI is also an open set. That means I runs from 1 to n. That means instead of having only two open set, if I have like A1 intersection, A2 intersection, A3 intersection, and so on up to AN intersection belongs to 2. Okay, why? Because all AIs are belongs to 2, and resultant is what their finite intersection is also open set. Right. Fourth one, what is the fourth property? Union of A lambda. Lambda belongs to the index set. That is, it is closed under the arbitrary union. That is, arbitrary union of open set is open set, as well as finite union of open set is open set. If the result is true for arbitrary union, obviously the result is true for finite union. Okay, finite union of open set is open set, arbitrary union of open set is open set, finite intersection of open set is open set, but we cannot say anything about the arbitrary intersection of open set. I think I have given you some counter examples also. I don't know how many of you work out with that. Okay, here you can have the remark that is intersection, arbitrary intersection of open set need not be open set. What the remark will be arbitrary intersection of open set need not be open. Okay, you have to find out the counter examples for this one. In the initial lectures, I have given you some examples, so you have to verify which one is a counter example of which one, right? So now let us go for the next one, the example in which, as I told you that there is a very strong relation between the metric space and the topological space. Okay, this is metric space and topological space, so that's why let us go with that one. Let XD be a metric space. Initially, we have seen the definition of a metric space and we have discussed what is open sphere in the metric space, what is open wall, closed wall. Okay, define what is a tau. Tau is defined as phi union is a subset of X such that for all A belongs to capital A, there exists R greater than 0 such that SAR. What is SAR? It is nothing but the open sphere center at A and radius is R. That we are restricted to our metric space. That means we have seen the definition of the open sphere in the metric space, right? Now this is what the topology define. What we have to show, we have to show that, or we have to prove that x2 is T space. We have to show that x2 is the T space. What is given to us? One metric space is given to us. That means we can now say that this metric space we have to prove the topological space, which means every metric space with the defined metric is a topological space, right? Every metric space is a topological space. So if it is a metric space, instead of all metric space, this is what the topological space. So every metric space is a topological space, but converse need not be true. Okay, the counter example for that I will give you later on while discussing the things. Okay, what is given to us? We have been provided with XT is a metric space, and we have to prove that it is a topological space. And now, if you see the definition of topological space, how tau is defined, it is either empty set. That means if you want to be a member of tau, either you should be an empty set or A is a subset of X. That means you have to select A in such a way that for all A belongs to A. That means for every element of A, there exists R greater than 0 such that open sphere is contained in A. Right? That means if you want to be a member of topology, either it should be empty set or there should exist an open sphere center at A and radius R which is contained in N. This should be true for every A belongs to A. That means for every element of A, there should be an open sphere which is contained in A. Right? We show you. Suppose this is what your extrude X, and this is what A is a subset of X, right? Let us assume this is A subset of X, and for every element A, there should exist an open sphere center at A, radius R, which should be contained in A, and this should be true for every element of A. I am showing in the diagram, but it is not true for these elements of diagram, right? But we have to imagine that we should have a set A in such a way that for every element of A, there should exist one open sphere center at A and radius R which is contained in A. As it is an open sphere, I cannot show this on the 2D plane. Instead of A, you can consider A to be a ball, And then for every point of A, there should exist an open sphere which is contained in A. And if this property holds, then we say that capital A is a member of a TOE. Okay. So I hope the idea is clear how to be a member of TOE. There are two categories to be a member of TOE. Either it should be an empty set or it should contain the open spheres entirety and radius R, and this should be true for every element A of a capital A. Now let us go. If you want to prove X2 is a T-space, you have to first prove that phi is a member of 2. Already by definition, you can write that phi is a member of 2. Secondly, if I want to prove X is a member of 2, what we can say X is subset of X, right? For all element small x belongs to capital X, there exists R greater than 0 such that Sxr belongs to X or Sx star is contained in X. This is true since uh, for every element of X we can find out an open sphere center at X and radius R which is contained in capital X, right? Since we have been provided that X is a subset of X itself, we can say that for every element of X, there will be existing of open sphere which is contained in capital X, right? So that's why we can now prove with the help of this that X belongs to 2. Okay. Now let us go with the third property. What is the third property? If A and B are members of 2, we have to prove that their intersection is also a member of. Now, to be a member of 2, there are two categories. Either it should be an empty set, or if it is any subset of X which is non-empty, then for every element of A, there should exist a open sphere center A and radius R which is contained in A. And if this holds, then only we can say A is a into or B is into. Okay, so we have to prove that A intersection B is in 2. So for that again let us go by the case 1 and 2. What are the case 1 and 2 which we have seen very similar to our cofinite and cofundable topological spaces. Okay, before that, can you say that whether this condition always true for this? Because we have considered X as a subset of X. Either for every element X, there will exist a open sphere center at a center at X radius R is contained in X. This is true. Why? Because we have been provided that XD is a metric space. If XD is a metric space, we know that phi and X are always open set. So if X is an open set in a metric space, or if X is an open set in a metric space, this definition will be true. Now, those who are knowing the open sets in the metric space, they can understand what is this definition. Okay, there should be a question mark na, that why for X, capital X, there will exist a open sphere center at a small x. For every element of capital X, there will exist an open sphere which is contained in X. Okay, now let us go for the case 1. What will be the case 1? If either A is not equal to phi or B is not equal to phi. If one of them is not equal to phi, or we can say one of them is equal to phi. If one of them is equal to empty set, at least one of them is equal to empty set, then A intersection B A intersection B will be empty set. कुठला तरी एक सेट empty असेल तर intersection काय असणार आहे empty. So which is already a member of tau by definition of tau. Okay. Now let us go for the case 2. What is the case 2? In which we can consider that either A is non-empty or sorry, we will consider both to be non-empty, right? If either of them we will consider, again the intersection will be empty. So we'll have A is non-empty as well as B is non-empty, right? So again there will be two subcases. What is the two subcase? The subcase one will be if both are non-empty but their intersection. What about the intersection? Intersection may be empty now, both are completely different set. If A is non-empty as well as B is non-empty, but if they are completely different set, okay, getting me? If both are completely different set, then A intersection B will be an empty set. And that's why obviously if it is an empty set, it is a member of a 2. Phi is a member of. What is a subcase 2? If both are non-empty and as well as A intersection B is also non-empty. Okay? Both are non-empty as well as their intersection is non-empty. Then if it is non-empty, okay, what is our aim to prove for an empty set? That means if intersection is empty, obviously it is a member of 2. But if you want to prove that if intersection is non-empty, still it will be a member of a 2. That means we have to prove A intersection B is a member of 2 in both the cases. Okay? What is our aim to prove? If A and B are member of 2, their intersection should be member of 2. That's why we are discussing the cases. Okay? For the subcase 2, what is the consideration? If A and B both are non-empty and their intersection is also non-empty, then for if intersection is non-empty, we can select X belongs to A intersection B. Non-empty means what? At least one element will be there, right? If X is an element of intersection, what do you mean by an element of intersection? It will be an element of A as well as it is an element of B. I hope you are knowing the properties of intersection union, right? If X is a member of intersection, what do you mean by member of intersection? It is a member of A as well as a member of B. Okay? Now here, if you see, X is a member of A as well as X is a member of a B. But what are A and B? We have selected A and B to be member of a 2. Right? We have selected A and B are member of 2. In this case 2, both are non-empty. Right? That means they will go in the second category of definition of 2. What is the definition of 2? If it is non-empty set, non-empty kashala asnare X a member of A as well as X is a member of B. This is we have proved. Now, if they are a member of X is a member of A as well as X is a member of B, then this will come in the second category, right? As A and B we have selected from 2. A and B we have selected from 2. For the first case, if A and B are empty, that is 2. That intersection will be empty and there is a it will belongs to 2. What about their if they are non-empty but they are disjoint? If they are disjoint, then intersection will be empty. But if they are not disjoint, they will contain some common element. Now, what will be the definition? Right? If A here we can say as we have selected A is a member of 2 as well as B is a member of 2, and if they contain an element, so by definition of 2, what we can write SXR, say we can say SXR1 is contained in A SXR1 is contained in A as well as I can write say SXR2 is contained in B. Why this is so? By definition of 2. What is the definition of 2? If it is not an empty set, what should be the consideration? If A belongs to A, instead of A, we are having X belongs to A and X belongs to B. So there will exist an open sphere center at A and which is contained in A. So instead of small a we are having a x, small x. So by definition of 2, you can write by definition of 2, if a and b are member of 2 and if they contain an element. If they contain an element, there should exist an open sphere with center at x and radius r1 and r2 which are non-zero radiuses. I can name this as equation say 1 and 2. Now let us define capital R to be minimum of R1 and R2. Right? Why we are selecting minimum? Because we want to find out the intersection. No? Now if I will select SXR which is contained in SXR1 as well as SXR will be contained in SXR2 also. Why this is so? We have selected radius R which is minimum of R1 and R2. Right? Let us assume that what we have considered, let X be in such a way that X is our metric space is provided to us. Now we have selected X. X is a member of A as well as X is a member of B. Right? Now for that we have open space enter at R1 and radius which is contained in A as well as we have selected some another open sphere which is contained in B. Now we have to find out one R which is minimum of R1 and R2 in such a way that we have to select an open sphere which is contained in SXR1 as well as we have to select in SXR in such a way that SXR is contained in SXR2 also. Okay, let me show you in the diagram. This is what some A and B. This is what the disjoint case, that is subcase 2. Now let us go for the subcase subcase 1, and this is what the subcase 2, in which we have an open set, suppose this one and this one, and here is a x. Okay, or in another way, let us take some big diagram so that you can understand. So x is a common member of A as well as a member of a B. So we have open sphere center at x and radius r1 which is contained in A as well as we have an open sphere center at x and radius r2 which is contained in B. Suppose here is x. No? Now we are going to select a radius r in such a way that we will select another open sphere which is contained in both. Right? So I will have this x and this is what an open sphere which is contained in SXR1 as well as it is contained in SXR2. इथे diagram मध्ये दिसत नाही. So try to find out this one. Okay, this is what with SXR1. I will select it in such a way that this is what SXR and this is what SXR2. This is SXR2, this is SXR1, and this is smaller one will be SXR which is contained in SXR1 as well as it is contained in SXR2. Right? What do you mean by this one? If you go with this one, equation 1 and 2, SXR1 is contained in A, SXR1 R2 is contained in B. So from equation 1 and 2, can I write directly as SXR is contained in A as well as SXR is contained in B? These are because they are contained in SXR1 as well as contained in SXR2. दिसतंय ना डायग्राम मध्ये SXR हे दोन्ही कॉमन मध्ये, so SXR will be contained in A as well as contained in B. You can write the reason by equation 1 and 2. Okay, which means SXR if it is contained in A as well as if it is contained in B, can I write this as SXR is contained in their intersection? You can see in the diagram SXR, this one, the smaller sphere will be contained in A as well as in B. So hence, what we have started with, आपण कुठून start केलं होतं? X is a member of intersection. Okay, as it is non-empty, we can select at least one element from the intersection. We have started with X belongs to intersection B. And what we have proved, there exists R greater than 0 such that SXR is contained in the intersection. So by definition of tau, what is the definition of tau? काय सांगते definition? So by definition of tau, we can say for every for all x belongs to A, or we can say intersection B. In this case, it is for all x belongs to intersection B, there exists HXR which is contained in A intersection B. Instead of capital A, we have the A intersection B. So by definition of tau, it satisfies the second criteria of being a member of tau. Okay, there is a second criteria for being a member of tau. If it satisfies this one, and hence we can say A intersection B is a member of a tau. Okay. Okay, so in this way we have proved the third property. What we have proved in the third property, if A and B are the members of two, their intersection is also a member of two. Now let us go for the fourth property. That means we have proved closed under the finite intersection. Okay. Now let us go for the fourth property. What is the fourth property? We have to select A lambda from two, and we have to prove that. What is our aim to prove that? The union of A lambda. That means we have to prove arbitrary union of members of two is also a member of a two. Arbitrary union of A lambda is also a member of two. So for that, let us start with the case 1. Again, we have to go for the case 1 and 2. What is a case 1? We have to select A lambda equal to 5 for all lambda. Okay. For every lambda, if you have selected A lambda to be empty set, that means the first category of being a member of 2. Okay. There are two categories to a member of 2. Either it should be an empty set, or if A is a subset of X in such a way that for every element of A there should exist an open sphere which is contained in it. And if this holds, then only we can say it is a member of two. So if we have selected in the case 1, we have all the A lambda is equal to empty set. The lambda belongs to the index set. Then what will be the union of empty set is again an empty set which is already a member of two by definition of two. Empty set is already member है ना, so in the case 1 it is true, that is arbitrary union of open set is open set which is a member of 2. So for the case 1 there is no problem. For the case 2, what is the case 2? If we have selected A lambda is not equal to 5 for some lambda. Okay, if you remember in the last lecture also we have done this. A lambda is not equal to 5 for some lambda. Let us select that lambda to be lambda naught. For lambda naught, we have A lambda naught is not equal to 5. If A lambda naught is not equal to 5, as well as this A lambda naught is a member of 2. A lambda naught a member of 2 असणार आहे ना? Why? Because we have selected all A lambdas from 2. And out of all those A lambda, one of the A lambda naught is not equal to empty set as well as it is a member of 2. If it is non-empty as well as it is a member of 2, what should be the consideration? It should go in the second category of being a topological space. What is the second category? As and the second category, there will exist an open space enter at every element of A and which is contained in A lambda naught, right? Okay, if it is not equal to 5, so obviously union of A lambda will be not equal to 5 because out of all those A lambda itself, one of the A lambda naught is non-empty. Out of all union मधला एक element किंवा एक set घेतलाय ना आपण A lambda naught which is non-empty. If at least one element of A union is non-empty, obviously the union will be non-empty. Okay, if union is non-empty, I can select an element of from the union, right? Now there is a case, you should know the properties now. Okay, if X is a member of union, what do you mean by being a member of union? Just like in the third property we have proved, X is a member of intersection, so it will be a member of both the set. But if it is a member of a union, what is the possibility? Right, it will be a member of at least one set. So now we can select X as a member of A lambda naught, since we know that A lambda naught is a non-empty. If A lambda naught is non-empty, we can select at least one element from that. And now we have X is a member of A lambda naught and A lambda naught is a member of tau. Then there exists R greater than 0 such that SXR is contained in A lambda naught, which is equation 1. But what we have A lambda naught. A lambda naught हे तुमच्या युनियन मधून येणार ना. A lambda naught will be a subset of union of A lambda. Correct, no? We can say here A is a subset of A union B. बरोबर? You should know all these properties of union, intersection and all. A is a subset of A union B. कुठलाही सेट असू दे. This will be a subset of their union. Okay? No doubt A will not be a subset of uh, B union C, because B and C are different sets. So this will not be true. But A will be subset of A union B. A lambda naught is from union itself, na? Out of all those A lambda, we have selected the union, and out of union, we have selected one lambda naught, which is in such a way that A lambda naught is non-empty. Okay, so A lambda naught will be a subset of union of A lambda. Okay. So from equation 1 and 2, I can write SXR is containing A lambda naught, and A lambda naught is contained in union of A lambda, which means, what it means, I can write directly SXR is contained in union of A lambda. Okay. So from where we have started with, what we have started with, X is a member of a union of A lambda, and we have proved there exists an open sphere center at X and radius R which is contained in union. As X is the arbitrary member, this result is true for every element for all X. Na? X we haven't selected to be 1, 2, 3, 4 ऐसा कुछ particular element नहीं लिया है ना. So if X is any arbitrary element, for any arbitrary element X belongs to union of A lambda. Okay, we have started with this now. X belongs to union of A lambda, and we have proved what we have proved. SXR for every element X belongs to capital. Union of A lambda. SXR is contained in union of A lambda, and hence we can prove union of A lambda belongs to 2, and hence from 1 to 4 we can say X2 is a T space. Okay, so in this way we have proved this example. So with the help of this example, we have one important remark. For this remark will be important. Why? Because this theorem of this example shows you that every metric space is a topological space with a defined metric on it. What was the defined metric on this? With the help of we have done it with the help of a open sphere. Now this topology is a metric topology. Why we call this as a metric topology? Because we have proved with the help of a metric space, and the corresponding space is called a metric topological space, and hence we can say that every metric space is a topological space. This statement already I have written initially while proving this theorem, that every metric space is a topological space with the defined metric topology. Okay, right? If it is, instead of having this one, later on I will give you some more examples of metric space, right? This we have done with the open sphere. We can do it with the open ball, open interval also. That way I will show you later on. The next example is that one only, that is if X3 is a metric space with instead of having an open sphere, if it is defined with the help of open interval, that will be also a metric topological space. Okay, why it is called metric topological space? Because it is defined with the help of a metric space. Okay, I will write down all the remarks. This topology is called as a metric topology on X. The remark number 1, this topology is called a metric topology on X. This topology is called metric topology on capital X, and second one, the corresponding space is called as a metric topological space. Okay, now let us go for the second example that you are going to have an example homework, and you are going to, it is very similar to that I have done just now. You can write down this and you have to solve it. So totally you will have two examples to solve, co-countable and this metric space. Let XT be a metric space, let 2 be defined by phi union A is a subset of X such that for all X belongs to capital A, there exists R greater than 0 such that X minus R, X plus R is contained in A. Okay, show that, or we can say prove that X2 is a T space. Okay, in this case, X is capital R, right? Because if we are not considering the open sphere, आधीच्या example मध्ये open sphere consider केला होता. Here we have considered the interval. So interval is possible only in the real line, no? So X is a real line. So this topology is called a usual topology. I hope you remember the usual metric space. That's why I told you that you have to remember all the metric space theorem examples, their definitions, as well as the definitions of the real also. This topology is called a usual topology. There's a metric topology and defined that a real number is called usual topological space. Okay. Now you have to prove this. Phi is a member of 2 and you have to select all this. Instead of Sx, R1 and R2, you have to select X minus R1, X plus R1. Right? I hope you will do this one. Right. What is a hint I will give you for this? Again, the cases we have to discuss. For the first and second, it is easy one. For the third property, what you have to do instead of x sxr, it will be x minus r1, x plus r1, and x minus r2 and x plus r2, and then you have to select which is minimum of r1 and r2. Okay, and then you have to prove the result. Similarly for the union. Okay, for the fourth property, what you have to do, you have to select x minus r, x plus r, which is contained a lambda naught, and a lambda naught is contained in union because union मधूनच घेतला ना तो आपण a lambda. Out of all those a lambda, at least one is non-zero. A lambda naught is non-zero or non-empty. Okay. So I'm going very slowly because this topology is very new concept for you people, and hence those who want to repeat this, you can see the recorded lecture once again. So if you have any type of doubt, we will see in the next live lecture. I hope you tomorrow I will take a live lecture. In the next lecture, we will see another topology, that is relative topology or subbase topology. Okay, relative or subspace topology. See, just like a group, subgroup, we have subspace topology also. Group plus subgroup asto na, with some defined property. Here also we have relative topology, or we call it as a subspace of a topological space. That we will prove in the next lecture. I will go very slowly because the topology is completely new paper for you. You have to be familiar with the all the notation. You have to write down whatever I am telling you in every lecture. Okay, now prepare the notes, prepare your own notes. I have shared you your I have shared you on the Google Classroom all the notes of topological space for the reference. So don't say me that your writing is not um, understandable and all. So whatever the notes I am having, that I have shared you. And another notes also available with me, Shivaji University note, but whatever the Xerox I have taken from some person, it is again already fed. और अगर मैं उसका PDF बनाऊंगी कैम स्कैनर से या अगर एडोब से, that will be much more difficult to read, right? So the वो Xerox ही बहुत ज़्यादा faint है, so that's why I haven't shared you. If someday if you come to university, tell me, and at that day I will bring that notes and you have to take a copy of that note Xerox copy. अगर अच्छा निकलता है जेरोक्स कॉपी तो ले लो, अदरवाइज वट एवर यू वांट टू डू यू कैन डू, or otherwise I will see whether that note is available in Thingy ma'am's cabin, so that we will see it. And unless otherwise, you can prepare your own notes. That will be a practice for you people also. At least once you should write down without looking. And if you are writing with देख के लिख रहे हो तो आपको एटलीस्ट 2 times तो लिखना पड़ेगा अगर आपको एग्जाम देना है तो. Don't think that we will give you exam directly MCQ का होगा, so you should remember everything. बघून लिहिणार असेल तरी पण तुम्हाला ते कुठे आहे हे पण बघावं लागेल ना. आम्हाला माहिती आहे आता MCQ एक्झाम कशी होतात. सो वी कैनॉट रिस्ट्रिक्ट दैट वन. एटलीस्ट ऐसा कुछ सॉफ्टवेयर होना चाहिए ताकि एग्जाम जब स्टूडेंट दे रहा है तो उसका उसका कैमरा ऑन होना चाहिए और वो सर्वेलेंस में होना चाहिए, बट दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, सो दैट्स वी कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग फॉर दैट. सो बट ट्राई टू बी वेरी ईमानदार होने की जरूरत है आपको अगर आपको सच में एमएससी पास आउट होना है तो. सो जो भी लेक्चर जब भी होता है उसके नोट्स प्रिपेयर करो. एटलीस्ट फॉर टोपोलॉजी यू हैव टू राइट डाउन एटलीस्ट वंस. सी दिस सेमेस्टर इज वेरी I can say it is hard because I also gone through this MSc process. In my algebra 2 is also you have to write down everything, all the theorems, algebra 2, real 2, and topology complex, all are theory paper. For theory paper you need a practice at any cost. Unless and otherwise if you are not going to do a practice, it is somewhat difficult for you people to understand. And whatever the OET paper you are having, OET is easy for you people, you can do anything for OET paper. Okay, so let us end here. I'm taking very slowly so that you can be very familiar with the topology, notations, properties. Okay, many things are there. So it is combination of real as well as metric spaces is also there. Some properties of intersection, union, De Morgan's law. So you should remember all these properties at a time while having the study of a topology. Okay. So in the next lecture, we will see subspace of a topological space, or we can say it is a related topology. Just like for a group, we have a subgroup. Okay. Have a practice, be a knowledgeable person, see some educational videos on YouTube, and try to motivate yourself and be a person that आप MSc pass out करते ही आपको job मिलना चाहिए. Okay. Thank you.